Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Civic. It's a 2.2 EX diesel. This particular car is registered NU12SYA, and the car has done 137,456 miles. The reason we do these videos is very simple. We just want customers to see the cars we're actually advertising actually in operation. We feel it's incredibly important given the distances people are willing to travel to come see our cars, and also because we know to our costs just how frustrating it can be to go and see a car which can look great in the description and in the pictures, only to get there to find out it's actually got a fundamental issue or a warning light or something wrong with the car which would show up straight away on a test drive. So that's why we do it. It's also done on these very quiet country roads close to our premises, and this actually forms part of the road test anyone would go on. And obviously the reason for that is we want it then to be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So this car, as hopefully you may know from the advert if you've read it, is a car that we know well because we actually sold it to the gentleman a few years ago. I think it'd done about 80,000 miles at that time, and since he's had it, nothing's gone wrong with the car by all accounts. Absolutely superb, and it's very nice that he came back to us. He bought a CRV from us, changing what they require from the car and the family in terms of kind of sporting events for their kids, etc. But the car has been kept really, really well. I'll go through the car as I always do, and again, I'm not taking or giving the car any allowance for the mileage it's done, so just accept that if you can. So starting the car absolutely instantly, settles completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge I'll do later in the video, because what I always do, especially on the high mileage cars, should we ever get one, is always do the videos from cold, which would obviously show up any issues that might be there with the vehicle. The engine just genuinely feels like it's factory fresh. It's so sweet in operation, pulls exactly and sounds exactly as it should, as it would have done from new. Sorry, just waiting for the cyclist. It really is. These are brilliant engines. Always have been, always will be. Maintained to a decent degree, they will last a long time. As I said, just regular maintenance is all they need. But it's an amazing unit. Engine then feeds through clutch into gearbox. Clutch in the car absolutely perfect. Bike point is exactly where it's meant to be, and it's smooth and smooth in operation. Gearbox, 6-speed gearbox. Again, feel nowhere in the linkage at all. It feels absolutely superb. Always love these gearboxes anyway. It's just got a lovely quality of actuation. The synchro mesh is brilliant on them, but it's a joy to use. It's a gearbox that you know Honda put a lot of effort into making these feel good in your hand, but also to last a long time, which clearly this has proved. The only issue I'd say is you've got a little tiny bit of wear on the actual gear lever there, just on this sort of leather work, but as you'd clearly expect, and I'm being really nitpicking on that, I really am, but in essence it's absolutely superb. Steering, the track's absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at all at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, and it still feels wonderful in hand. It's just so precise, it's quick, it's accurate, and I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me, I can feel that coming. Yeah, it's just a lovely power steering system because the weighting's perfect as well. It's just a joy to get in and drive, and it feels absolutely just so crisp and tight in operation. Just you could not believe this a car done more than 20 or 30,000 miles in the way it drives and feels. Same with the chassis, just rides perfectly as it should. No horrible noises. It's still agile. It's wonderfully compliant on the move. So you can do sort of big mileages very comfortably, but it loves corners. It just eats them up. As I said, what I'm looking for on road test, regardless of the mileage of the car, is that there shouldn't be any sort of nasty sort of clunks or clanks coming from underneath, and there's nothing at all. You hear it hitting the bump, but there's nothing thereafter. brakes on the car. Just going to get up to speed a bit and give them a bit of a shove. Behind me, really solid brake pedal, bite really nicely, and no pulsing or vibrations coming back through the brake pedal at all, so all exactly as they should be. Coming inside the car, I mean, I love this interior. I've got a white Civic diesel, so this is a bit of a busman's holiday for me. So this interior to me is, I've always loved them, and I readily admit they're a Marmite car in every sense. You know, you get them or you don't, and you know I do. That's why we sell lots of them, because I couldn't sell stuff I don't like. But that silence just speaks volumes about Honda's build quality. There's not a squeak or rattle from the interior of the car on a car of this age and mileage, and I say it in many of my videos because it really bugs me. If you look at road tests of cars, even this Civic when it was new, probably against something like Golf or an Audi or something 1 Series BMW, and then you look at the build quality section and you look at the same garbage, because that's what it is, which is spouted each and every time, where they always put Germans, build quality, yeah, great big thumpy sounding doors and all this kind of stuff, lovely sort of soft squidgy materials that they use. That's fine, but they only test them when they're new. You jump in some of those cars when they get to this age of mileage and they generally actually don't hold together anywhere near as well as these Civics. They are absolutely brilliantly put together cars. They actually use very nice quality materials. The upper materials are sort of quite soft touch, actually taken from the Accord at the time. There are harder plastics, but they are what Honda designed them so that bits where you spill stuff, they just wipe off really clean. It's actually incredibly practical. That's why they do it. But what they are is beautifully put together. Virtually like no other car in its class. It is a wonderfully made car. Oops, let me go. All, by the way, working exactly as it should. Sat nav, as you can see there, functioning perfectly. Air conditioning, which is dual zone, so you can have different temperatures side to side, pumping out absolutely ice cold air into the cabin of the car. Heated seats working perfectly. Then my favourite part, this 2-tier dash design, which is just genius. It really is. So you've got this upper deck, which gives you the information you want most readily when you're driving along, basically. So even when you're pressing switches like the climate control or radio, your information display up there, you've got the same display here as up there, so you don't have to look down into the bowels of the car to get that information. But my favourite part, the speedo, always has been. The information's right in the corner of your eye the whole time, so you're not taking your eyes off the road for even a second. It is just genius in the way it works. Down below that, a more conventional pod, 3 dials, big rev counter in the middle, flanked by the temperature gauge and fuel gauge. Temperature gauge now running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car, by the way. So all in perfect order there. Steering wheel, lovely thick rimmed steering wheel, small in diameter, feels great in hand actually. And apart from a tiny bit of wear at the top, sort of where you get rings and everything else, is in fantastic condition again. Again, all the functions working exactly as they should. Cruise control, volume controls, radio controls there, all spot on. As I said at the start of the video, the point is literally to show you the car, but to pick up on any issues. And there's nothing at all on this car. It drives, take my word for it or don't, that doesn't make a great deal of difference. It's a case that if you came and drove the car, what I'm seeing and feeling here is exactly what you'd see and feel if you drove the car yourself, because it drives absolutely perfectly. It really does. If you've got any questions though, as always, don't hesitate, do give us a call.